Good afternoon, friends. This is Meg at Chasing Retro, and at long last, I am here to tell you that the Sesame Street Journal event has begun. I am so excited about making these. I'm excited about every new project that I start, honestly, but these have sort of a very fond place in my heart because I grew up with Sesame Street. In fact, everything I learned on the streets. I cannot take credit for that. You can't see it right now because I didn't want to change my camera configuration to film it, but I am wearing a new t-shirt that I found at BlackCatTheory on Etsy. I will link her channel below, and I will show you a video clip here of me wearing the awesome t-shirt that I found there. She has generously offered to let anyone who comes to her shop from my channel to use a 20% off coupon on her items by using the coupon code ChasingRetro20. I'll put that in the box as well below. So she has this design, but it's a little bit different if you order a child size. If you order a child size, Elmo is included in the shot. And if you want the, I guess, vintage version, the adult sizes have no Elmo in the shot. So I grew up with Sesame Street without Elmo. I think Elmo came out around 95, 96 when I was in college. So I preferred the vintage one. And honestly, I could not find this t-shirt design anywhere else but in her shop. So I think it's exclusive to her. If you are wanting one of these t-shirts, if you grew up on Sesame Street or your kids did, you'll probably want to have one of these. It comes in several colors, and it's super soft, and it is, I think, a men's Gildan soft tee. So it's not as stiff as the regular Gildan tees. It's very soft, and it's men's sizing. So she has size charts and all of that. This video is not sponsored. I just happened to reach out to her and let her know that I was going to feature her t-shirt on my channel and I wanted to make sure that was okay because I didn't want her to be flooded without wanting a lot of orders or customers, but she said that would be awesome. So I'll put that information below. I love this t-shirt. I cannot wait to wear it out and about. Bert is here to welcome you to the channel today as well. This was my vintage, well, it wasn't vintage at the time. This was one of my stuffed animals when I was a little girl, and he's still doing well. Knickerbocker brand. I'm not really sure what that is because I don't think we have that anymore, but there's no date. But I'm assuming he's probably 1979-ish because I was a baby when I got him. But he sits on a shelf, and he decided to come down and welcome y'all to the video today. Let me show you everything that I have for the Sesame Street journals. That's what this video today is going to be, is just a overhaul of the covers that I have to pick from, as well as the items that I have for embellishing and decorating and ephemera and all of that. I will use this as a backdrop fabric to give you something pretty to look at. This is some vintage stretch knit that I found at a thrift shop. There's some writing on it. I'm assuming it was the end of a bolt. This one does have Elmo, but that's okay. Maybe Elmo will make an appearance in some of the journals. I'm trying to keep them retro Disney as much as Disney. I'm trying to keep them retro Sesame Street as much as I can, but Elmo will make an appearance in some. If Elmo is your favorite, you can, look for him when the journals are complete if you want one of these. But we have Big Bird and Big Bird's teddy bear as the main characters in this little hot air balloon fabric. I love this fabric. So if you see something, if you see a cover, if you want to reserve one of these, and I know a few of you have already reached out to me about that, and I have your names written down, but if you see one that you would like to go ahead and reserve, let me know which cover you would prefer. I cannot guarantee covers just because I really feel like this is going to be such a large project. I don't want to promise somebody and then I end up having to change it for some weird reason. So If I can get you the cover that you would like, great. If I can't and something changes, I'll let you know, and you have the option to back out of your reservation. But I really am going to try to keep this straight. I think it's going to be crazy, but I think I'm going to try my best with my husband's organizational skill help to keep all of this organized. I have sitting next to me 2 piles of books. Let me see. Some Ideals magazines got in here, so those are not supposed to be here. Let me get these out of the way. I have 2 piles of books here, and I'll show you those. Before I do that, I'm going to show you this basket on my left. I have some things in a Dollar Tree basket. You guys might remember when I hauled this. I found this at Hobby Lobby, and it was just I was just walking down the yarn aisle, and I saw this and said, oh my goodness, I have to get this. I hope I have enough for Tassels for all of them. If I don't, I think they sell this all the time right now. I don't think it's been marked down, but we'll see. I may, if I'm near Hobby Lobby this week, I might drop in and grab another one. I have this little memory card, I think, that someone gave me years ago in Happy Meal, and I might put this on a dangle on one of the larger journals. It would be too big for a small one. I think it's so cute. I found this fabric at Walmart, believe it or not. It's a fat quarter. I don't remember the brand. I guess it's just Walmart's own brand. They had one left in my Walmart, so I was very excited to get this. It's sort of got a natural background. I have, you know, I love to put Family Circus in my journals. I found one cartoon about Sesame Street in there. I thought that was great, so I saved that to use. I received these in Happy Mail, so these will be decoupaged and used, of course. I bought 2 groups of things for these. Normally, you know, I try to use what I have or what people have sent to me with their generosity, but I decided to splurge a little bit and buy 2 things. The first thing I bought was this lot of See and No cards by Whitman, and I have 4 of them here. I found these on eBay, and they are just adorable. They all have Muppets on them, but not all of them are Sesame Street characters that we, you know, might recognize. There's Harry and Ernie, Prairie Dawn. Is that Prairie Dawn? I get confused. Does she have pigtails or not? And there's Bert eating a pizza slice. That might be Prairie Dawn. This is Guy Smiley, I think. And these are just Muppets. And on the back, they have the shape. And there's plenty of journaling space on the backs of these. That's why I love them. So I got the shapes. And these are truly vintage. These are 1971, I think. Let me see. Okay, this one is a little bit older. This one is 1980. 1978. So they vary by a couple of years probably. And then Guess Who cards are Professions. And these have a little bit less, quote, Sesame Street characters on them, but they're obviously still Muppet cards. So that's fun. Shapes, Guess Who, numbers, and alphabet. And these have no words on the front. They're just, and then a lot of journaling space on the back. These are in great shape. They were all accounted for also. I sent one of these cards in Happy Mail this week, but the rest of them are here. Yeah, so those are fun. I have more than I'll ever need, but I wanted to have them, and I might put a few, you know, if I end up with extra ephemera for these, I'll probably set up some Sesame Street ephemera packs in a shop. here's the other item that I splurged on. These come in paperback as well as hardback. I think hardback were published first and then paperback later. But for the same price, I could get hardback. So I got the hardbacks. They are landscape opening, so they would be challenging to make a journal out of. However, I could if I really, really wanted to use one of these covers. But look at these. These, the printing is a little bit less colorful than in some of their later stuff. This is the early days of Sesame Street. This might even be the first or second year they were on TV. 1970. So they were just really, really new. And the drawings are very simple, but still lots of white space on these, so lots of journaling space and opportunity. To save ink, I think a lot of times they would put sections or signatures that were just black and white and then alternate with color. That was pretty common back then, I think. That doesn't bother me any. Believe me, these journals are going to be colorful enough that your eyes are probably going to enjoy the rest when you come to a grayscale page. I plan to use a lot of color. And yeah, they're all kind of, look at Kermit. He looks kind of derpy in that picture. Some of them have photographs, still shots from the show, which is really cool. Yeah, like I said, I decided to splurge on some of this stuff because this is stuff that I have never, ever, even when I wasn't looking for Sesame Street things, I've never come across these in a thrift shop, ever. So I wanted to get them for these. This one is very busy, people and things. And it's just a lot more photographs, color and black and white, of people doing various things and professions. And book of shapes. And this is when Big Bird used to have a really, really small head, and they changed him a few years into the show. I don't think people liked him that way. Some of these, honestly, you may have to save for my vintage retail because it's, you know, grocery store pictures from the 70s. And a book of numbers. Do y'all remember this little guy that would, the PI or detective, I don't know what his name was, and he would sell numbers. So he's throughout this book, and as you go through, look at this color. Isn't that awesome? It's like that little pinball machine thing. I love this. These are so fun. Next, I'm going to show you all of the books. I'm going to go through rather quickly. Some of these can be covers. Some of these will be used as ephemera. Some will be both. I don't think I'm going to keep the original story in any of these unless it's a little golden book. The bigger books like this, the Random House, I'll use these pages as extra pages in the journals, as well as fussy cutting and making pockets and stuff like that. So see, these are just perfect for cutting out and using as a tuck spot. There's Hooper's Store. So we have Cookie Monster's storybook. I have several of the Sesame Street book club. This is There's No Place Like Home, and this is early 80s, I think. Looks like colored pencil drawings. Oh, this is not Sesame Street. Let me put this down. I didn't plan very well before I turned the camera on. The Day Snuffy Had the Sniffles. This is a little golden. I probably need to keep these separate. Welcome Home, Big Bird. Y'all might see a title or a cover that you recognize from childhood or your kids' childhood as I go along. This is one of the when I had it as a kid, it was the encyclopedias. I think they changed it a little bit to sound a little less encyclopedia-y. They changed it to On My Way with Sesame Street. This is 89. I think mine were 1982 or 3. So a lot of the same things are in here. Like I recognize some of these little stories, but they changed the covers. I have some Telltale books, so I'll probably make a few smaller journals, smaller size this way. I have 2 Sherlock Hemlocks. I just kept coming across these. I actually passed several by. I kept coming across this title for some reason. And then I have Big Bird Follows the Signs. 1980. A friend sent these to me in a Happy Mail, so I will be able to use these. I have some golden shape books that will be used as ephemera and pages. This is about the Count. Lots going on in these pages. Here's some more golden books. Several, actually. Oh, a lot more than I thought. I've got some duplicates of these also. Big Bird's Red Book. Some of them have a special back cover, so I'm going to flip them over as I go to see. Big Bird's Day on the Farm. My sister had this one. Bert's Hall of Great Inventions. What's Up in the Attic. My sister had this one also. Another red book. This one's a little more scuffed. Puppy Love. The classic monster at the end of this book. Another Day at the Farm. This one's really dirty. Oscar's book. This is a precious one because I love Oscar. Another monster at the end of this book. From Trash to Treasure. This is different. Looks like one of the newer reprints. Probably the 90s. Ernie's Work of Art. This one is pretty loved on. Stained pages. The Together book. Another Oscar book. Y'all, I think I went overboard. I don't know that I've gone this overboard in collecting for any journal but this one. I just kept finding Sesame Street books at ridiculously low prices, so I just kept buying them. Winn-Dixie, oh my goodness, a Winn-Dixie price sticker. And Count All the Way to Sesame Street. One more right here. And then I have a golden sturdy book. So this is I found this at a thrift shop. This is a board book, but not as thick as some board books. I mean, it's almost like a box that you would wrap something in, a gift box type. So still usable. They're thick enough that they could actually just be die cuts for, large die cuts for writing on the back of. And that would actually be a really cool journal shape. I don't know. I think these are a little bit hard to write in when they're tall and slender, especially if they're real thick and have multiple signatures, but it's interesting. Another shape book with Bert and Ernie. This one is very chaotic as well. Another book club, the Sesame Street Pet Show. I have 2 of these. And I love these, the Grover and the Everything in the Whole Wide World Museum. Like, I think I've said this before. If y'all ever see this book, read it. It's hilarious. Ernie and the Twiddlebug Town Fair. Ernie gets lost. He's at the mall. Okay, I said I only bought 2 things online. I bought 3. I bought some Sesame Street magazines. I'm not going to flip through these again because I did in an earlier video, but look, they're from the late 70s, and they smell a little bit musty, but that's okay. They'll be perfect for getting ephemera out of. This is one of the non-silver edged golden books, Scared of the Dark. You might remember that I found this calendar. It was not at the beginning of the year. It was like March. I found this calendar at Dollar Tree. And look, the characters have disco outfits on. And these pictures are so radiant and beautiful and happy and colorful. in retro. Isn't this so fun? I'm gonna have to get creative with how to use these because some of these are so big. I think I'm gonna end up having to make some large journals in this series to make sure I get a lot of these bigger images in, because, and I think this would be a really fun journal to make big, like even a glue book or an art journal that you could just have fun with on the pages. This is a Christmas one, but I bought it anyway because not every picture looks wintry. We've got some pictures that I can just use. Rubber ducky. I have another Museum Grover book, and I have another shape book. I just got this in Happy Mail last week, the vintage Sesame Street coloring book, and I'm so excited about this. Aw, even the colored pages are usable and cute. And then here's another one of the redone encyclopedias. Let's see what year this is. 83. So it must have been right after I got mine. They changed the covers, and some of the ones from this era had actual photos on the front and not drawings. But I had this same story in mine. Oscar's Silly ABCs. I think I've already said this one. I could be wrong. This was one I found recently that I didn't have, vegetable soup. I found these. These were only 50 cents at an antique store because they were in such horrible condition, which for junk journaling, this is perfect condition, isn't it? But this one is so colorful. Every room in this house is a different color. I loved this book. And the count counts a party. So we have a birthday party of some sort. The bats are funny to me. I don't like bats, but okay, this is just like mine. I said encyclopedia. It was library the whole time. This is exactly like the one that I have. All the covers look like this, and I found this one at an antique store. That might be a fun cover. It's very foxed, but that might be a fun journal cover. Oh, I did pull this in case I needed more fodder to go in these. I did find this educational workbook, but I have since decided not to use it because I pulled it thinking it would be more of a preschool activity education themed. No, I think I've got enough stuff that it can just be solely Sesame Street themed. So I'll put that aside. I know Madeline sent this to me. I do remember that because she found this at the Goodwill bins. And this is going to be, this is like a piece that I didn't have. I love to put music in all my journals, and I didn't have any Sesame Street music at all. So excited about that. This Alphabet of Trash shape book. Two more, I guess, Sesame Street library books. These look a little newer. Oh, one more. My Family. Another Treasury one, which is kind of the same thing with the count. And then more golden books, y'all. What in the world? I don't know what I was thinking. I must have thought I was making 100 journals. This is Ernie's Work of Art. Big Bird Follows the Signs Again, another Whitman's. Big Bird Brings Spring to Sesame Street. I made a journal out of this when I first started selling journals. It was a spring theme journal, but I have another copy now. Big Bird's Red Book, which is, I think, one of the most classic covers you can have. The only problem is that bothers me is they put the UPC right there. But we can get creative, can't we, with how to cover that up. We have Cookie Monster and the Cookie Tree, which is a very unique one. Love this one. Another red book. Another spring. Another, gosh, this is the third monster at the end of this book. Big Bird's Day on the Farm. I have 2 of those now. This is the one and only one of these I have, I think. Is that it? Nope. A couple more here. This is the only one like this that I have. I think that is wonderful. 1984. And another Together book. This one's in a little bit better shape than the other one I have. This is 1971. And 3 more items to show y'all in the books. One of them is this. This is a little book that was included. It's just got trivia and history and fun, just colorful pages. I can actually take this one apart with the strings and use the whole page. But it came inside this, which I bought for my kids years ago. Actually, okay, truthfully, I think I bought it for myself. I found it at a really good, like, closeout price. And I think this is the year I bought it, 2009. So really fun. I've watched it several times. I will keep the disc, of course, and I plan to watch more of them, but I decided that the book is not sentimental to me, so I'm going to use this book as ephemera. And then since I'll be keeping one of these journals, I don't feel so bad about cutting it up. I found this at a thrift store. And though it's not Sesame Street, it has a lot of images of Kermit that I can fussy cut and put in the, without Miss Piggy, of course. I can fussy cut him and put him in here in the journals, and that's just fun. Who doesn't love Kermit? And then the last book that I have, I've had this since I was in college, I think, maybe before. I bought this. Do y'all remember at Books A Million, they would have the bargain book section in the front of the store? I found this on the bargain book rack when my husband and I were dating. And I've always loved Sesame Street, and it was probably cheap enough that a college student could afford it, so I bought it. It's published by Hyperion. I checked, and it's still for sale on Amazon. They're still publishing this book. I probably paid $5 to $7 for it, but it is a treasure trove. I've read through it all, don't worry. I'm not getting rid of something that is, you know, useful. I have read this thing back and forth, and there are so many great, so many great things in here I can use. The history, screenshots of the show. I plan to put little historical tidbits and factoids in these journals too. Incorporate that somehow. And it's just fun. There's so much color in here. If you're making a Sesame Street journal for yourself, I highly recommend purchasing this book, used if you can find it, because there's so much in here. It's just so fun. The last thing I'll show you guys on the desktop before I reach down and grab a box with more items in it is I've bought 2 paper pads at Walmart. These are made by Colorbook or Colorbook, I don't know how you say that. And they looked very usable for Sesame Street journals, color-wise and shape. Like this one has geometric shapes in it. I'll do a flip through if you have not seen these. They were very reasonable. I want to say they were $5 to $7 each. This one was 8 by 11. Is that right? 8.5 by 11. The other one's 12 by 12. And each design has 2. And it just goes through the rainbow, and it has different shapes and patterns on it. That chevron looks 70s for for sure. I kind of wish the green was a little bit more Kelly green. It's more of a lime or an olive, but that's okay. So yeah, I thought that was perfect for these. Then y'all, I found this Bright Splash, and it looks like mixed media paper, but it's bright. I mean, it is like bright colors, which is great. And I believe everyone in here is different. Similar colors as you go, but different patterns made by the paint. Isn't this so neat? I mean, this is just perfect. That bright green with the yellow and the blue. You can kind of see the texture of the substrate they used before they took a picture of this. I love it. I think it's epic. I don't think there's any other thing I would be able to use these for except for art journals, except for Sesame Street. They just feel like they're made for Sesame Street. That was called Bright Splash. All right. On the floor here, I have the little things that I've collected for these journals so far. Some of it was sent to me, some of it was just things I had. I received some TV game cards from some Happy Meal a while back. This is the name of the game. And I cut the screen out and they will be used in the journals. I've been holding these for a reason and now I know why. So these will be used, and I put one in here to remind me to cut some more out. I found this in a grab bag from my thrift store. These are just colored straws that are snipped. They're actually a little bit thicker than straws, but I'll be stringing these, maybe somehow interweaving these with the Chanel loop on the tassel. But this just reminds me of something that you would have made in preschool, the little straw necklaces and stuff. Here's the Hooper store that I made with my gravy kit this week. I got these in Happy Meal this past week. You might remember them, the little tiny cards. I think someone sent these to me. They're just torn out of one of the little encyclopedias or library books. I got this in Happy Meal, and it looks very Sesame Street, so I dropped it in here. More stickers that I was sent. Let me put the other stickers with it. I collected these a while back. I may or may not use these because now that I've decided to do solely Sesame Street, but these are some more flashcard box tops, color bunch, some more See and Know cards. I remember playing with these as a kid. And then I had two, what are these called? Project Life cards that I thought would go well in here. I have some brayered tags that I made probably last summer with acrylic paint, and I do also plan to brayer some paper for these journals, of course, with my bright paints. I need to do an inventory and see if I need some more colors of paint. I have this one card that was sent to me. I think Madeline sent this to me as well. It's a yellow fleece, but I was like, oh, that just feels like Muppet. So I'll find a way to use this for a tactile element. And then some more educational flashcards. I threw in some felt letters and numbers because I plan to use these somehow. I have this ribbon, which has primary balloons. These are from the Dollar Tree. I don't remember what the images look like on the cards. Okay, so Big Bird's on the back of all of them, but not all of them have a character, but some do. Still cute to add in for some non-vintage cards. If you feel bad about writing on the vintage ones, you can write on those. And then I have this Good Character Award sheet that was sent to me. I found this at my craft reuse store. It's a record sleeve, so I'm going to try to figure out how to use this. I found this coloring book at, I think at the craft reuse store, or maybe I got it at Dollar Tree. I don't remember. I don't remember now, but it has some, we have some original characters in here I can use. More stickers. Oh, this came off the tote bag that I bought at Marshall's. I was sent some moving announcement cards in Happy Mail, so I have a few of those. And then someone also sent me some Sesame Street Uno cards. How cute. So that is what I have to work with, y'all. Let me know what you think. I have not even started figuring out which ones are going to be journals and which ones I'm going to just cut into for ephemera, but like I said, if one of them is jumping out at you and is nostalgic for some reason and you want to reserve that one, you can Etsy message me, but I don't always see those immediately. The best way to get info to me is to email me at chasingretro78@gmail.com. It's linked below. I get notifications on my phone when I get emails to that account, so I will see that first, and it'll be first come, first serve kind of thing. But I knew this was going to be a long one. If you love Sesame Street, it probably seemed like 5 minutes, but if you don't, it was probably not as short. But I wanted to show you everything that I found. I wanted to show you this fun new t-shirt that I'm wearing, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try to bring you along and film the process as I go. Next week looks like I'll have a lot of free time and it'll be quiet at home a little bit, so I will be having hopefully some craft with me sessions. I have a few people that I've asked if I would just do a live craft with me, and I've thought about that. I don't know. I've never done that by myself. I've done it with others. I have one coming up actually with Carrie the Paper Monkey in a couple weeks, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how bold and brave I feel. I also wanted to say thank you to everyone who has purchased items from my daughter's Etsy shop. She had several orders her first day and a few more the day after. I feel like sort of a bad mom because I didn't research very well beforehand. A lot of things have changed on Etsy since I started selling on it. And so now they have a hold or a waiting period on new sellers for receiving funds after purchases. So unfortunately, looks like she's going to have to wait 2 to 3 weeks to receive her profits, which I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it to keep, I guess, bots and, people from opening up a shop, selling a bunch of stuff, and then closing their shop and not shipping the stuff out. But it really does stink for new sellers. I don't know if any of y'all have started an Etsy shop recently and experienced that, but if you have not and you're thinking about it, FYI, there is that happening right now. And then once you are selling and getting your funds, there is, I think, a 90-day wait before you can get paid every day. If you make a sale, you get paid the next day. I think you have to wait 90 days. Until then, you get paid every week or 2, something like that. It's kind of confusing, but I didn't read the fine print before she signed up, but that's okay. It's all good. She's still going to keep making jewelry, and she's still selling, so she's very happy, and I'm a proud mom watching her do this. You guys enjoy your day. See you soon.